Paxton, Nebraska is a quiet farming community just east of Ogallala. Not much happens in Paxton, especially on a Sunday afternoon. People in Paxton like things that way. Today was an exception, though. The town turned out to honor its high school basketball team for winning the state championship in its division, D1. People started arriving at the I-80 interchange near Paxton about 2 o'clock. When the vans carrying the team arrived, the horns sounded, and overhead a loud clap of thunder could be heard. After a parade through town, the team arrived at the high school, and each player was given an opportunity to speak.
Coaches did a good job. Something Shirley deserved pretty good. Thanks, Shirley.
Coach Jody Rhodes feels the team did just about everything it had to win the title.
This ball club is, they've faced adversity at certain times throughout the year, and they've handled it like mature adults, and they did it again down at the sports center. So the way they handled themselves in the fourth quarter is the way we felt they could do it all year long.
Parents who were at the game in Lincoln won't forget it for a long time.
Wild. Fans did a nice job. Everybody stood the whole game and really supported the boys good.
You could see the look in their eyes. They've worked so hard for this, and I don't know, it was, I don't know, just too emotional for words.
Paxton, Nebraska, the capital of high school basketball in this part of Nebraska for the 1994-1995 season. Lincoln Flash is here. Did you have a good time?
That's right. It was a great time down there. We had some great area performances. Of course, Paxton winning last night. Lexington coming oh so close, but some great performances over there in Lincoln at the state tournament. The state tournament is the time for each team's premier player to step to the forefront and guide the troops to a big win. For Paxton last night in the D1 championship game, that happened. Junior Lindley Thompson came up huge. His 25 points kept Paxton in the game when they were down as many as 7 points going into the fourth quarter. But it was the play of unheralded forward Nick Crabb who helped turn the game to the Tigers' favor. The sophomore came in averaging just over 6 points. In the title game yesterday, he ended up with 10 points and 3 crucial rebounds in the final quarter.
I don't know how much Nick Crabb had left on his backside after one of them timeouts, but he heard it from about everybody that he possibly heard it from. And then when he stepped out on the court in that fourth quarter, saw a completely different player. And be honest with you, a player that I hadn't seen all year. I hadn't seen it in any pickup games in the summertime out of him. Some of them rebounds that he had, and yet finished it off after he got the rebound. I think he had 2 putbacks. One was falling down on the ground. I think one of them was a 3-point play too. So you know, I saw some play out of him that I'd never seen before.
The ticket's been bought. Just find a seat. It's time for the Winter Sports Roundup.
Y'all want this party started, right?
Your host, Seth Denny, with great winter sports highlights next on the Winter Sports Roundup.
Bang. Bang 'em. Bang.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Winter Sports Roundup. It's been a great season. There's been some fantastic team and individual efforts. Over the next hour, we'll recap Greater Nebraska's best moments of this season, so stay with us. Welcome back. Joining us first of all is Paxton head boys basketball coach Jody Rhodes. Jody, thanks for being on the show today.
My pleasure. Anything to give our town a plug, I think I'll do that.
Boy, you better believe it. Owner of 2 state championships from this year alone in volleyball, of course, in the fall. You won the big state championship for the Paxton Lady Tigers. Then just 1 week ago, they win the boys state tournament in Class D1. Has that ever been done before?
I'm not sure if it is that combination's ever been done. You know, I know there's a lot of coaches out there that have captured 2, and I even know of some that have captured 3. But as far as going from volleyball into boys basketball, I'm not sure that's been done.
Well, phenomenal year for you, and it's really not even done yet, I guess. But let's talk about that basketball team first. finished 26-1 on the year. Their lone loss, of course, to powerhouse Wahoo. Just a phenomenal season. The only way to finish this thing was, of course, a state championship, right, Coach?
Well, I guess we can say that now.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure what would have happened had we not got that state championship, because the way we ended it last year, the kids put an awful lot of pressure on themselves to repeat as far as returning to state. But once they got down there, they were focused in on trying to accomplish the state championship.
After a tough district tournament, the Paxton Tigers headed to state to take on Bertrand. Bertrand came in with a 15-5 mark. Let's check out some first-round highlights. This was a good Bertrand team, wasn't it, Coach?
They are, and they're a young team, and anybody that has them on their schedule next year is probably going to be a little leery of what they can do. They played a good first-round game. For the most part, these players from Bertrand hadn't had state tournament experience like we had, and we were hoping that maybe we could capitalize on some maybe early game mistakes that they might make, but they really didn't make all that many.
Here's Chris Ford, number 42, going in for the bucket. He's a big, powerful kid that scored a couple early buckets for Bertrand. He played a nice ball game, didn't he?
Scouting report on him was he's going to be really tough to stop on the boards, and we knew that we were going to have to get a body on him if we were going to contain him as far as the rebounding is concerned. So he was a scare for us, too.
There's Shad with a nice bucket. Shad Hansmeyer for 2. Later, Kiffin Anderson would get the nice drive and score. Boy, he seems to wheel and deal and find his way through there.
No, we were going into the game. We wanted to see if maybe Kiffin could hit some of the creases out of their man-to-man, and if they were going to go zones, likewise with the zones. And if he could do that, we thought maybe we'd have the upper hand, and they'd have to spread out their defense and allow some of our bigger players, like you see Lindley Thompson there, to get inside. And Kiffin usually makes defenses adjust, and when that happens, then other players get involved.
It was 32-20 at the half, but Bertrand would fight back. There's Ford with a nice three-pointer. But the defense of Paxton would really pick up. That big swat there by Lindley goes in there for the nice bucket. He's a leaper, isn't he?
He's a real leaper. He goes like 31 or 32 on his vertical jump, and when you get into the big games, I think it raises up just a little bit more than what it does when he's in practice.
I would think so. There's Kiffin Anderson. He plays some nice defense, too. Paxton goes on to win this one 56-43 over a tough Bertrand team. What were you thinking after that big first-round win, Coach?
Well, you know, a lot of people come up to me, especially the press, after the game, and they maybe said that with things to the effect that it was another unimpressive win and things like that, and we really didn't score many points. But you know, there were some things that we weren't pleased with as far as our offense. But as far as the defense is concerned, we held them low enough to outscore them, and that was our big concern. This is
semifinal action now between Clearwater and Paxton. Clearwater had an excellent big guy there. You see Adam Allers going up for 2. This 6'8" guy was a good ball player, but Kiffin had another great game as he buries the three-pointer there. That's 20. He had 22 points on the night, Coach.
He carried us through that game because we knew that going inside was going to be relatively tough for us, and we still wanted to try to make our inside-outside game go, and in that order, and possibly get some fouls on their post players early. But we weren't really able to do that. They're a smart team and one of the better teams we played all year, so Kiffin had to carry most of the load there for a while.
How about this nice play inside? You guys run that quite a bit this past season?
Well, we'd run it a lot early in the year, and we kind of later on towards sub-districts and districts, if we felt that we had games at hand and in hand, I guess we kind of laid off some of our special plays to try to maybe save them for some teams that hadn't scouted those things.
Sure. We go to the fourth quarter now. This one was a nail-biter down the stretch. A couple of big buckets were put in by Mitch Perlinger. There he gets the score and the foul. That's a big point there for Mitch Perlinger, isn't it?
Mitch, we got Mitch open, rotating him from the low to the medium post quite often throughout the tournament, and he was really good at that move. Once he caught the ball within 5 feet of the basket, he either probably got the basket or ended up at the free throw line.
Few free throws sealed the deal. It was 57-50 was the final. The semifinal win over Clearwater.
The thought of getting to the finals is really big, I tell you. Of course, winning the finals is a heck of an experience too, but just making it to the finals, I don't know how you can ask for any better feeling than that right now.
In the third quarter, I felt like kind of forced some shots, and we probably played a pretty poor third quarter, but in the fourth quarter, we didn't panic. We were down 3 going in, but it wasn't a situation of panic. It was a situation of, hey, we felt if we were close going into the fourth quarter, the game was ours, because we played Grant, we played Fall City Sacred Heart, and you know, we didn't panic at all. And I felt as the senior leader, the point guard, that you know, if nobody else is going to do it, I will, I guess. Yeah, we try to keep our confidence up all year. We know every team we play is going to be shooting for us, and we just try to keep up at good shape all year and keep it going.
It really did seem like teams were gunning for you guys. Of course, being number one, you're right up there on the pedestal. Everybody wants to knock you off.
Well, I think a lot of that had to do with our success. That is, with our being ranked number one all year long. We went into each and every game. We knew we were going to get everybody's best shot. And a lot of times it may seem as though maybe we didn't have a very good game, but for the most part it was due to the other teams being pumped up and ready to play us. And I think that, you know, when you go through a whole season playing against teams that are ready for you and getting every team's best shot, it's going to help you out when you get down there at the state tournament, because it really doesn't matter what you rank down there, you're going to get everybody's best shot no matter what.
Going into this final game with a team like Sterling, the Sterling Jets, of course, from southeast Nebraska, looking for a three-peat. They were in C2 last year. Actually, the last 2 years, they'd won it back-to-back and looking for a big state championship in that final in D1 as we go to that one. They were on fire early on, as they can really fill it up, can't they?
They can. They'd been notorious all year long of getting the ball inside and scoring inside, but these three-pointers that they were hitting kind of took us by surprise, and man, they really kept us off balance. I know we wanted to try to go inside like you saw Lindley do just there, and maybe possibly get a couple of those big guys in foul trouble so we could spread out our defense again, but Lindley goes baseline there again, and that play was working fairly well for us out of our zone offense and stepping in the creases and hitting that baseline shot.
You bet. 6'4" junior Justin Haynes for two there. Quite a duel between him and Lindley, huh? A couple of good players.
Well, both of them are awfully good, and they're talented. They're tall players. They can shoot the ball. They can jump. They're just heady players, and both of them had an outstanding tournament. Neither one can hang their head on the way they individually played.
There's a big three-pointer by Kiffin Anderson. The big name players came up big, but the real story of this one was the play of Nick Crabb. Boy, this sophomore played phenomenal.
You know, I told the people after that ball game I'd never seen Nick play quite like that during the season, during practice last year, during pickup games, and I've just never seen him play quite so inspired. And I don't know, maybe if it was that three-pointer he hit in the third quarter, or maybe the old-fashioned three that he got in the fourth quarter, but something sure inspired him, and I'm extremely glad that something did.
Mm-hmm. He played phenomenal. There's the last bucket of the ball game. Not quite enough legs to dunk that thing down. The Paxton goes on to win that one 54-46. What's the feeling with the guys running out on the floor like that? It's awesome, isn't it?
It is an awesome feeling, and I'd forgotten what that really felt like 4 months ago in volleyball. When I turned and saw those guys hugging each other and piling on the floor, you know, the biggest joy you get is seeing the joys on their faces, I think.
That's great. Now we're going to hear from a couple of the Paxton players on their big win.
Like I said, the ball was bouncing my way, and I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and luckily the ball went in when I had to.
Coach, get after you a little bit at some part in this game to really get your game going a little bit?
Well, I don't know. He just knew we could win the whole time, and we just weren't playing smart basketball at the beginning. And he wanted us to just go out there and do what we did all season, and we did. It started clicking, everything went right.
The greatest feeling in the world for a senior, I think, to go out on top and as champions, you remember it the rest of your life. Just ended up with the win.
In your game, I mean, you just worked hard. You kept plugging away at it. Individually, you did a great job down the stretch.
Yeah, we were down 5, and we knew if we stepped it up defensively, they were pretty hot, and we knew they had to cool down sometime when we finally caught back up to them at the end.
That was the key, stopping Haynes down the stretch. He missed a couple big jump shots. You guys shut him down defensively.
Yeah, he's a great player. He made some big shots, but we also shut him down.
This is what you guys expected all year long, and a state championship. It's got to feel great, right?
Yeah, it feels great. I don't think it's quite sunken into me or any of us. I don't think yet. It really feels great. We've been striving for this the whole season, to come down here to Lincoln, and as we'd said, we had unfinished business to tend to down here in Lincoln, and we came down and got the job done.
But now it's finished, right?
It's finished now.
You guys have been going for the gold ever since you lost last year during the state tournament, right?
Oh yeah, we knew we wanted to come back and we wanted to win state this year. So we worked as hard as we could, and we came back and did it. Coming into the season, after last year's disappointment, our goal was very plain and simple to win it all. And once we won districts, we had a slogan, unfinished business. We came down here, we concentrated, we had fun playing basketball, and we took care of business. And I mean, I always said I wanted to know when it was my last game here at Paxton, because and the only game that you can say that in is the state finals, and winning it is just a great feeling.
Coach Jody Rhodes, congrats on a fantastic season. Boy, 26-1, state champions in Class D1.
Thank you, Seth.
We'll be right back. For Lexington and Paxton, this year has simply been the best.